And we are live. Thank you so much. And so when we start, I just want to say at the very beginning that I do recommend, I'm a little bit slow talker, so I do recommend that you watch my videos, rewatch my videos in a little bit speed mode. I find it a little bit helpful for a lot of things, so maybe that's going to help you as well. Anyways, I wanted to show you, let me just maybe turn the music a little bit down. So I wanted to show you my last four photographs. So right now what you're seeing on your screen is my Instagram page with my photographs. I have 3 last ones edited, posted. But I actually am going to share with you 5 that I have done a very simple setup, and a lot of people think that you need a lot of gear, which I have. But I want to share with you the last creative process that doesn't really involve a lot of maybe Photoshop skills, and how I have created them, because it's done really, the post-production is not really that done in Photoshop so much, only played around with color. So I have kept it in a little bit the same tonation. We're talking about this one, and this photograph. So I have one more which I'm going to actually show you, pop it up on my in my Photoshop, and I'm just going to show you before and after, so the raw image and the final edited, and you can see how it works, how it was, and I'm gonna tell you exactly how I took each image. All the 4 images that I'm going to show you, so those 3 plus 1, they have been done in the same day, same, let's say, hour and a half of me taking self-portraits. Right. So I'm thinking without any further ado, we are going to start doing it, yeah? Good. Let me just, what do I have in here? Okay. So I have my Photoshop, and I guess we're gonna start with let's just take, yeah, I guess we're gonna start with this one. It's not in any particular order that I have taken these photos. It's more like I have just in which order I have edited them, yeah? So, okay, we have this one. There's one thing that I absolutely don't know how to do and what to do, is how do I name my photos? I have recently joined a gallery, let's say, artist representatives agency in New York City, and they asked me to name my photos, and I don't know how to name my photos. In October, by the way, before we go further, in October I'm gonna have a exhibition in Greece. And then I think we're gonna move to Amsterdam, in Athens, Greece, and then in Amsterdam, Holland, or the Netherlands. Yeah, so I'm super excited. So if you're around, follow my Instagram. I am super active on Instagram, and then you'll be able to get all the details. But yeah, let's start with this one. You can already see on the side, right over here, on the side of my Photoshop, that I just have, okay, let me just scroll it here. I have layer 0, I have generative fill, and then I have generative fill copy. Why? Because my workflow is very known to me, so I don't really need to, I have the same workflow, so I don't really need to name each file to remember for myself. So I'm pretty consistent with the way I do things, so I don't really need to name it. But if you're starting, so I would, for example, name it like, if you're working with background here, then I would say okay, this is my background, or if I'm working with my editing, for example, skin, and removing some blemishes and so on and so forth, or for example adding a little bit hair, which recently is nothing more than just me taking my hair up. So I would definitely suggest you naming your files. But I don't. I actually shot this series very, very simple, like super simple. And I have had a really wonderful time, an easy time editing them. It was literally, I didn't really have to edit anything, at least just like skin touch and so on. Yeah, so it was quite fine. Unfortunately, my live chat is currently unavailable, and I don't know why, but that's okay. I hope it's going to be all right. So, anyways, going back to my photographs. Okay, so I don't remember what I was doing in here. So let's just unclick that, and we're gonna find out. Now we're gonna unclick this one as well. Okay. So that was probably some generative fill that I was trying to do. I mean, it says generative fill, but I really wasn't generating anything using the part like an AI-ish. What I wanted to do is I wanted to fill in with the background, because this is my raw file. This is exactly what came straight out of the camera. And that's great. So what happened here? I had my this was a little bit tricky setup. I was trying to cover my window, and I was trying to do all kinds of things, but what I really did is just to cover it a little bit behind my camera. So literally my towel was covering the back of the camera. It was touching the back of the camera where my camera was standing, and my lens was touching the front of, or rather the back of a vase, flower vase, square flower vase that was filled with water, and I was shooting through water. Now the red over here you see is a red food dye. I didn't have India ink. I had just a little bit different idea in my head, and I wanted to use India ink, but I didn't have it at the time, and this was just like I thought maybe food dye will work the same way as India ink, but it doesn't, sadly. So we do need India ink. That's a project for future jewels. So I first started doing a little bit work on what do I do and how do I do it. So basically I needed to decide what kind of what do I really need, like what kind of how do I want to approach it. Okay, so I have a lot of red color in the water that is just being squeezed in, and I very quickly jumped in front of the camera, and it was just flowing, and I was shooting, and so question was, which photograph do I want it? So I settled for this one, and then red was fine, but if I saturated that red, it was a little bit too much when I saturated the red, and when I didn't saturate the red, it came out a little bit too gray. So I had to figure out what is it that I'm going to be exactly satisfied with in terms of coloration. I've already been shooting, I've used all my backgrounds, stone gray and fashion gray, and now I have red left. I did order, but I've been bumping into a lot of things lately privately, so I didn't really have time to hang all the backgrounds. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna do this one. And so I shot red on the red background, and I don't actually regret it because it seems it's great. It's a little bit more monochromatic, so I liked it. But what I decided to do, I decided to go a little bit smoother than this. This one's like a bitchin' red, in my opinion. So what I did was took it a little bit down, created pinkish. And why did I create pinkish? Because I already have the pink series right over here. So I wanted to kind of match the bottom series. Let me show you. I wanted to match the bottom series, so it's this one, and there is this one that I fell off the chair, and this one. Right. So I wanted to kind of create, maybe not create, but I wanted to kind of keep it in the same tonation. The other ones are a little bit completely different, and this is of course one of my favorite ones, but I didn't want to go the same gray and pink-ish. I thought I have a completely different dress, I have a completely different setup, so it needs to be completely different image. And so I have settled for a little bit like pinkish, but not exactly the same as it was the other three. So this was the final image. This is what I decided on. You can see there was a little bit greenish in here, and I thought actually that was quite nice, because if I would have only transitioned from white to right over here to the pink, that would be maybe just a little bit too dull. So I have a little bit of green in here, like a green tonation. I thought it was quite complementing it. So this was my final setup. I didn't crop the top. The top is has a little bit darker. I didn't coloration, because the red dye was very much right on top, and it started just coming down a little bit, and then eventually it covered me the entire thing. But I managed to shoot a little bit where it's a little bit more condensed here, and it starts to fall down, and it just creates this kind of like a shadow, demon shadow or something. So I was pretty satisfied. I chose this one. I think other poses were a little bit better, but I chose this photograph. No. All right, so that was number one. So I'm gonna go with this one. These are the ones that are published. There is also another one that is absolutely not published yet, which I'm going to show you. And I do have a little, like a little thing whether I should publish that one or not. It's a little bit more blurry. Again, we are shooting through water. We are shooting through water, so it's not going to be super sharp. It's going to be, of course, a little bit more blurry, just like this one. And keep in mind that I'm standing right in front of my camera that is standing behind a glass that is filled with water, and I'm doing all kinds of movements. So basically, the camera focuses however it focuses, does its best job, but in the end it was what it was. Now this is a very interesting image, and I wanted to show you. So this was when I figured out, I think I have a video just before this one, how I'm actually editing this photograph. So again, it took me 45 minutes, I think, to about 1 hour to edit that one, and I was doing live. And again, I would strongly advise that you watch my videos at least on 1.5 speed or 125 speed, because I'm a slow talker. Right, so this is the final image, yeah? But what happened here, this is fog. It just came like a little poof of fog, and it started coming up, and exactly my camera captured this in a perfect moment. And I'm just going to reach out, and I'm going to show you my fog machine. I am today, I've done 20 kilometers on my bike, so I'm a little bit off. But it was so worth it. I work out a lot, actually. Right, so this is my Ulanzi Fog Ace machine, and I'm going to show you how it works. I'm going to turn it on. We're going to have a little bit poof in front of the camera. Let's make it interesting. So basically, this is it. Do I have some? Yeah, it was refilled for outdoor shoot. So I'm just going to give you a little bit poof right in the middle. So that's basically it, yeah? It gets intense. This thing gets intense. It's a heavy smoke. If that's what it's called, I have like 6 liters of it, but I'm using right now the original Ulanzi. I'm gonna show you exactly what it looks like. So this is it. Ulanzi Filmo Gaze. I think you can see it, eh? Right, good. So basically this is what I did. I had my fog machine right in front of my camera. Well, yeah, so we have a camera, we have water. My camera is shooting through water and a thick glass, 2 layers actually of glass, and water in between. So this is exactly what we're doing, and then I'm trying to figure out in an already cloud of fog how I'm going to actually do this. So it came exactly in the right moment, and I thought it was just creating really nice and beautiful skirt. Now, if I had better control over my Ulanzi, if I could really time it well, I would have timed it in a way that maybe that skirt would have been let's say skirt, which is the fog, it's just slightly lower. But I had absolutely no control over it in that sense, because when you take photographs with any kind of fog, you have to make sure that you open windows, that your air flows in and you air out very quickly. Because even though it's here in Europe things are very much to its highest standards harmless, it is an artificial fog, and you should not really play with the safety of your health and of course the surrounding around you. So you should have windows open, if not immediately, then always should, with the windows opened. And so that's what I did. I had my windows opened, and sometimes the fog would just kind of fly all around, but I managed to do it this way. So this is the image. This is the raw image. On the bottom you can see there is my chair. Right over here you can see there is my floor in my studio. The background, I don't really pull it out all the way. I found that this will be enough, that I can always edit background in Photoshop, so it's not a problem. And right over here on the top, let me just come a little closer, right here on the top, this is a reflection of the bottom. Because again, I'm shooting through through water. So I'm basically seeing a reflection. This is important because I'm gonna move into another image, the last image in the end. But so basically this is the reflection over here. That's the floor and that's this floor. Yeah, and I think this is quite important. So first I figured out how I want to do the color. And I kept it a little bit luminous, so I was pretty happy about it. I was pretty happy with the way I did the color, so I left it this way. I'm gonna be okay. It's not pink, but it's purple, but it worked for me much better. And that skirt just kind of gives, like, here's a little bit, white-ish, off-white. I have saturated the entire image, and here's a little bit pinky, just like the other images. So some of the other images. So I liked it. And then of course I fixed the floor. in Photoshop, and the top as well. Right, so you have here before image. I think it's important to show people before and after images, because people tend to think like, okay, what were your settings? Like, how were you shooting in your, what were your settings? And settings don't matter as long as you are not, let's say, overdoing it a little bit, and you're not overexposing or maybe underexposing too much, and that you actually have an image that you are able to see through it, or if you're underexposing, like Brooke Sheaton, for example, does. She underexposes all her images. Then, but she's very good with Photoshop, and she creates all kinds of things. So unless you're really good with working with Photoshop, I would suggest to keep it a little bit safe, at least at the beginning, and then move to something a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit better. Oh, there's one thing that you probably have noticed. Maybe maybe not, but right here. Right here is the Ulanzi fog machine remote control. It's super nice because it's detachable, so I can actually control it while I'm posing. Yeah, and I was holding it and just doing all kinds of crazy things, and of course, you know, pressing the button. So that was super nice. Right, so we're moving here. So we, yeah, so I edited this way, and then the final image. And I was very pleased with it. No. Okay, so we've seen these two, and then we're gonna move to this one. Okay, that was a little bit tricky one, and in the end I'm gonna show you. Okay, this one is a very tricky one, I initially actually didn't like it, because I thought it was way too much fog. Whether this works or not, I do not know. It's very artsy, but I think I tried to kind of bring it a little bit down in the contrast, not pop it up. But initially it just looked very, very dull, so I kept it this way. I kept, of course, the top. I didn't want to crop it more. I don't think I actually cropped it too much in here. Let's just see, because I really don't remember. Okay, yeah, I didn't crop it. So this is the before image. This is the raw image that I managed to capture with the fog machine. So imagine the fog machine is standing right in front of, let's say, the lens and the camera, a little bit on the bottom, so on the floor. So I need to create a lot of fog, but I don't want it to already dissolve in the air, in the air in front of my camera. I actually want it to be a little bit thicker, so I had to figure that out. I think I was holding also the remote control. I can't remember. But this is what came out over here. So again, I had to figure out how do I want to work with the image so I am a little bit more visible, because here I'm completely almost disappearing. So I had to find out how to do how to work with the light, how to edit the light, contrast as well, and color, and what kind of tonation do I want to keep it. So I basically kept it this way. I mean, I could have probably done the entire fog in Photoshop, because I do have presets, but honestly, to be honest with you, I don't know, maybe you'll agree with me as well, I cannot get enough of creativity when you have to do things from scratch. I absolutely love doing things from scratch. So, I mean, I Photoshop a lot as well, but there's something about this whole process that you do everything from scratch and everything done in camera, on the spot. I find it to be a lot more rewarding than Photoshop. I'm not against Photoshop, don't get me wrong. I love Photoshop and I use it all the time. But I cannot always get that creative process that resembles something unique in Photoshop. But again, like I said, I'm not against Photoshop. So again, we started here, very dull image, but I saw some kind of potential in it. I saw something. I thought, I like it. I think if I can clear out the cloud a little bit, so maybe. So I did. And of course, when you use presets, you will just, erase whatever you don't want in Photoshop and just create a little bit more clarity on the photograph. But I couldn't create clarity too much because I couldn't remove anything in here, because everything was done on camera right in the process. And so I wanted to go a little bit darker around. I thought it was, so I think I vignetted that. You can also play around with, this the sides and create something a little bit more interesting. Well, maybe this one is also not too bad. But so whatever you can do, and that's completely white. Whatever you can do, you want to do, just play around and just do it. And I was pretty satisfied with it. I mean, I gave a little bit more vignette here, just to kind of give the edges a little bit more dimension or definition. But the rest, I'm happy with it. And now we're gonna go to I guess the final image. Of course, we're now gonna, right. This is one of my favorite images. There are a couple of other images that I wanted to edit, and there was one more. Maybe I will find it, and I didn't. No, I think I did edit. Well, we're gonna come back to it. I think I did edit. And so basically, why did I mention the reflection before? Because the reflection, if you can see a little bit over here, there's like a little shadowy area. And that shadowy area is where I poured water out, and I didn't fill it all the way to the top out of my vase, because we're shooting the entire day right in front of the vase, square vase filled with water, flower vase. So I didn't fill it to the top. It ended somewhere right over here, and normally it would be right on the top, like I had my picture set right to the top. But this one, I just kind of took it over here. I just didn't feel like, I didn't want to have it all the way. I wanted to have a little bit like a blur, but I didn't think that, like a blur, maybe like a stripe across my face or across my body, and I wanted to kind of see what it was going to do. And then I realized it's just creating a reflection, my reflection of me, and I thought, oh my god, this is amazing. So I really liked it a lot, and I kept it, and I did a couple of shots. I am sitting on my floor, hardwood floor, and my knees are excruciating, are in excruciating pain. But we did manage to pull some shots out of it. Yeah, and I thought this one was actually quite interesting, but let me show you what I captured before. Okay, so this is what I captured in camera. This is the raw image. This is what I captured in camera. I already found it a little bit interesting, and I thought, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to play around with it. But I knew that red wasn't exactly to be the color that I wanted to keep in this particular image. There was one more that I wanted to keep it red, and I'm going to show you because it is finished and edited. But for this one, I thought I would also want to keep it a little bit like in the series, maybe the purplish, like a burgundy, So first I had to figure out how I want to do it, and I went a little bit different than the other images because I don't really want to have that copy. And I have to tell you, I do use like a base for everything. I have like a base settings written on in my notes that if for a particular series of images. So if I would want to have something, you know, kind of done in the same on the same level in the same style, then I will use that base of my editing in like color processing to implement to other photographs. So this is what I did, and I thought it was okay ish. And of course I had to clear I don't remember what I was doing. Oh, probably clear out the background. So yeah, I thought this was quite alright, quite interesting. So I kept it this way. So this is the before image, raw, straight out of the camera, and this is the edited final image. And again, I'm using like layer 0, then I'm using layer 1, and then layer 1 copy. So again, for myself, I don't really need to write it down what I'm exactly doing, because my flow is pretty steady. And when I'm satisfied with an image, I don't tend to come back to it. I don't tend to come back to it, so well, that's okay, I think. Again, you can use some sort of like filters around in here when you have them, but that's up to an individual. I'm fine with the final result, so before and after. So that's this one. And this one. I think it's my favorite that I started doing it. This is the last one from the series, and I'm going to keep it a completely different coloration. I don't want to do it again the same way as the other ones. I actually decided that I wanted to keep it a little bit more. This is before. I definitely saturated that, and I gave a little bit more white and contrast, but I wanted to keep it in red. My assistant convinced me that maybe I should just at least take at least one image and keep it in a red tonation, so it's not so monochromatic everything, my entire Instagram page. So again, first I had to figure out the color. So I played around with it. So I saturated the red. I popped up the contrast. I do recommend just to kind of go pop the contrast strong. I played a little bit with highlights and so on and so forth. I fixed the background over here. I think the top as well. I'm not sure, but I could be a little bit. So the bottom fixed. I mean, this one was already nice, but it was a little bit too dull, and I don't want to keep it things that are a little bit too dull. And it looks kind of like I'm supporting myself. And again, just like the other image, it was reflection from the water, from my experiment, and just some few poses, and that's about it. So I am very, very satisfied with this image, the final image. So again, this is the raw file. Let's just show a little bit more. So over here is the floor, and then of course the final image in JPEG. I always desaturate, even though I saturate first. No, sorry, I saturate later. I desaturate. So okay, I have this kind of weird thing I desaturate my images, I take the temperature down, and then I saturate my images with the temperature being down. So it creates a little bit different coloration in the end. So this is something I advise doing, because it gives just a little bit different shade of that red. And I think those were all the images that I wanted to show you. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5 actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5. I said there will be 4, but it's 5 images. So I hope this was somewhat informative, the before and after. I feel like a lot of people are asking, what is your, what were your settings and everything else? The settings don't really matter, because in the end you're popping everything into Photoshop, you're enhancing everything or de-enhancing everything for the creative process. So I just don't think that it really matters what kind of settings I have been using. It doesn't matter to me. Like, if somebody will tell me, okay, what settings were you using, I would say it doesn't matter what settings, or I would ask what settings we're using. I don't expect an answer, because it really isn't that important. I will be creating a couple of more videos, informative videos. One is a mistake that nobody caught, and I'm like, okay, but that's going to come next time. One, it's very strange. I think natural light photographers are completely excused from it, but photographers that play around with light and shutter speed and release and all those fancy little trinkets that we have, I am surprised that nobody actually caught that small detail that I have been struggling with, and myself included, actually. It's like, yeah, but I caught that 2-3 weeks ago, but I haven't managed to do yet a video about it. But thank you for this one, and I hope you enjoyed it a little bit and gave you a little bit clarity on, just to push your limits, and that you really don't need to have expensive stuff to create something really interesting. I do recommend using either Photoshop or Lightroom to work with your light. And of course, editing. Don't be afraid of editing. It's not evil. But a lot of people think that, you need a lot of money and a lot of gear. Yeah, I mean, apart from my Ulanzi fog machine, which I absolutely love gear and I love to buy things, I believe you can just use a piece of paper and tear it in many different ways, and that's about it. And then you can create a photograph with it, yeah. So or using it to some sort of like a creative idea. So it doesn't actually have to be expensive. So here we are. Little bit of water, and that's about it. If I didn't even include the fog machine, we just had a little bit of water, food coloring, and that's about it. So I hope this helps somehow. Next project will be involving a little bit of paper from a shoebox and a plastic wrap. So, and also have some plastic from like a cover from those IKEA frames. So that's another one. If somebody's throwing something away, tell them that you want to grab it and use it as your creative idea. So, yeah, thank you. And I'm gonna be scrolling around and looking at other people's photos for inspiration. So if somebody